to my peace of mind. 'Cause you make me feel, you make me feel, you make me feel like a natural woman.
Okay, hello, family, friends, and my Patriot crowd. I'm really thrilled right now because I've got the Patriot Barbie on with me. We're both out of Arizona. We're true patriots, and we're here to talk about many things. But what's really on my mind today, Lindsey, is this war on women, and it's real. And
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
really fed up, and I'm on the same page with you. And I would like to hear about your story. I was scrolling through your Instagram and I saw you dressed up as a cat. You went to the to the board, and I just loved that so much because I'm like, she's so on target right now. You can be delusional in thinking that, oh, you are this, or you, at the end of the day, in the name of diversity, what we're doing is it's at the cost of our children, our girls, our women. We're sacrificing them and giving up their privacy rights and all kinds of things. And so tell me what happened to you, and let my audience know, because I'm going to share the heck out of this.
Okay. So that cat costume, that was the first school board meeting I've ever spoken at in my life. And I don't know what got into me, but I was like, I don't have to explain to probably your followers how stupid it is that we are enabling this mental health crisis. Like, if homeboy wants to dress like a girl, he's a cross-dresser. I mean, that's the term.
Right.
If he wants to act and behave and dress like a girl in public, we call that a transvestite. Well, now we've let it go into like, no, now you're actually a woman. You have women's rights. You're allowed in the locker room. And that's where I'm like, hold on a second. I don't have a daughter that's this age, but my 16-year-old daughter says, Mom, I think I'm fat. And I've been throwing up my food after I eat. She would have bulimia, right? Do I enable that by taking her to plastic surgery and getting her liposuction? Do I assist her? Do I escort her to the bathroom so she can throw up her food? No, like I see that she has a disorder and I get her help. Why in the world are we letting these people take our rights from us for the sake of, like you said, inclusivity? And so someone brought to my attention this man sitting on a school board, dresses like a woman. He's been on the school board for years as a man. Now he's all of a sudden dressing like a woman, but now he's telling the little children to call him Mrs. Bixler, and he's using the female facilities. So this is a problem. So I dressed up like a cat, basically went there and said, am I a cat? Do you guys say that I'm a cat? Because I have ears on and a tail. So does that make me a cat, or does it make me a woman thinking I'm a cat? Okay, so if you think that I'm not a cat, then you agree with the mental disorder that is sitting on your board right now. So I did that November 14th. December 16th, Fox News saw it and was like, can you come on the show? So I went on Fox News, prime time. That went viral. The cat video went viral. January 14th, so this is all almost like exactly to the month, I find out that somewhere along those lines, I find out that this man goes to the same gym as I do. Wow. I've never seen him before.
Sorry, Lindsey, where is this? May I ask? The school is Arizona, the school.
Yes. So this is in Liberty 25 district. It's Buckeye, Goodyear, mostly Buckeye, I think. And this gym is East Sporta Fitness in Goodyear. And I go to 2 gyms, so I'm not there all the time. So I've never seen him. I'm being told by my followers that he uses the men's locker room. And I'm like, wait a second. So he uses the men's locker room in real life, and then he uses the little girls' restrooms at school events. That's interesting. So my mind is like, ooh, I can't wait till I see this dude someday going in the men's locker room. I'm going to take a video. I'm going to expose him to the school board.
Right.
Well, I didn't have to. He started using the women's locker room. Apparently he got his diddly cut off and got a physician's note, went to the Arizona Department of Motor Vehicles. They changed his driver's license to say female. So now he got permission from the gym to start using the women's locker room. I was in there, checked into the gym before him that day, was already there, was in the locker room and changing, and he was in there. So I called the police, and I thought to myself, This is going to be interesting because I'm not sure they're going to do anything because I know how this stupid world works right now. They're going to pander to the like, oh, well, he's a
Right.
trans.
And what's
But I have
scary
no
about
idea.
this is we're in Arizona. Like, I wouldn't be
I
surprised
know.
right now in California hearing this story.
Totally. Yeah.
But so he did have a sex change. He did. Or he,
Allegedly, I mean, I've never looked. I mean, how do you prove that, right? I mean, I went to the DMV and I asked them, what does a person have to do to change the biological sex on their driver's license? Because to me, the fact that you can even do that is insane.
right.
You have to present a signed physician's note that you are committed to the sex change. Now, listen to the verbiage there. Committed to committed to the gender change, not you've removed your body parts,
Right.
not you've taken it's so vague. You
This is
could mentally,
terrifying.
yeah,
This is
you could
terrifying.
mentally go to the doctor and say, I've been living as a female for a year. I'm committed to being a female. And the doctor's
Right.
like, okay, there you go.
Right.
And now you've got access.
If people don't see the loopholes in this
Mhm.
argument or what they're, committed,
Yep.
because that just opens a whole Pandora's box.
Yep.
Anyone can say, well, I'm committed, and then
Right.
go in. And, where are our girls' privacy rights?
Right.
Okay, well, I heard you talk on your Instagram about that and how you felt at that age in the locker room. I remember feeling that way.
Mhm.
I had an older sister who was taken advantage of at a birthday party in a
Mm.
Brady Bunch neighborhood, Lindsay.
Oh
Okay.
my
Forget
gosh.
about a bathroom or a girl's locker room. And now we're seeing urinals being installed in LA,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And
And same with I think Arizona State University.
oh, really?
I
Okay.
think, yeah.
Didn't know that. But
Yeah.
where are the boundaries here?
Mm,
There are none.
there
I'm
are
sorry,
none.
go on. I just had to interject.
Yeah, we've
Anger.
allowed this.
My anger.
So I called the police. He was not arrested because, his driver's license says female. Now, fast forward, he's filed a harassment injunction against me and he has won. I went to court. He surprised the court with an attorney that morning. I represented myself and the court signed off on it. So I can't make contact with him, which I never did anyway, right? Other than like the one video where I am seen asking him, hey, Paul, why do you use the men's locker room sometimes and the women's locker room sometimes? It's the only personal contact I've ever had with this man. Now there's a harassment injunction against me. I have to get an attorney and appeal it. Otherwise, I have it on my record, which will affect my ability to possibly buy firearms, security clearance. If like Trump were to invite me to a rally or something and they'd run a background check, like I have a harassment injunction against me. So now I have to go to court and fight this. But here's where it's a big deal for everybody listening. Okay. This is my private battle, which I'm happy to fight. If I go into the locker room at my gym and he is in there, there are no cameras and there are no witnesses potentially. He could fabricate an incident where I spoke to him, said something to him, harassed him. He could call the police and have me arrested because
That's right.
in the restrooms, in the bathrooms, there's no cameras. And that's the whole problem with this whole thing is that there's no cameras and you can't put cameras in.
Mhm.
He fabricated evidence to get this injunction. And then on the stand, he had to recant and say, oh, I misunderstood the situation. He made up an entire event to get this injunction. He lied to the courts. So there is no reason in the world he wouldn't lie again. And if I walked into the locker room and he was there, I would bet my life that he would call the police and say that I called him a tranny or I harassed him or I threatened him just so that he could have me arrested.
This is so upside down and so twisted.
Mm-hmm.
And, I can't help but to go back in time to 1920 when we were struggling for the right to vote and the 19th
Right.
Amendment.
Right.
Why is it that girls are always pushed to the back of the line,
Mm-hmm.
the back seat? Okay, let's look at women's sports.
Yep.
Leah Thomas, everything that's happening in women's sport. We're basically saying, you know what? And if we don't stand up, if we don't get bold and stand up and say something, we're in serious trouble here for our girls. Women's
Yep.
sports is being jeopardized.
Do you want to know what's interesting? Is
Privacy.
even as you say that, you say like, let's go back to the 20s when we actually had to fight for our rights. Those rights were like to be able to work,
Yeah.
to be able to vote, right? Why were we not allowed to do those things? Because society recognized a different hierarchy of like the Christ man, woman, traditional family, right? Which is a woman answers to her husband, which of course, being Patriot Barbie, I'm not always on board with that. But like the reason that we didn't have those rights is because society viewed us as a weaker sex, and we are the weaker sex. So does that mean every man can overpower every woman in the world? No, but on a general basis, men are stronger than us physically. So society protected us by looking at us through the eyes of being the weaker sex. Now we can vote, now we can work, and we have these equal rights, which a lot of feminists are still being little weenies about.
Mhm.
But now we have so few rights that don't even recognize us as the weaker sex anymore. Like
Right.
we are the weaker sex by fighting for these rights to be in a locker room without a man, and society goes, figure it out.
Figure it out. Who cares
Figure
about
it out.
who cares about the loopholes or your rights to privacy? You know, and male athletes are physically stronger than female athletes. Okay, hands down.
Yeah.
You're born with that male physique. You are stronger. You shouldn't be competing when I don't care how much hormone therapy you've had.
Mhm.
Shouldn't be competing in women's sports.
Yep.
So yes, it has been a patriarchal society for hundreds of years. We are smart. We should have access to equality in these things, and we need to stand up right now, or I feel like this is a tsunami that's coming. And because where are the boundaries? I don't know.
There are none anymore.
There are none.
Those are done. Those are done.
They're not
We
even
are,
blurred.
yeah,
They're
we're
just
past
gone.
that. Yeah. We're I don't know where we go from here other than like this man in court during the harassment injunction testified on the stand, of course, that he is a biological man and that he had a sex change and that now he is a woman. And I'm sitting there in court going, I'm sitting here being given a harassment injunction because I called the police on him and he's admitting he's a man. Like,
Yeah.
doesn't that sort of win my case all on its own that he's
Right.
literally under oath saying he is a male?
Right.
And so I'm fighting this back. I actually just retained an attorney today.
Great.
As you know,
Congratulations.
thank you.
Male
I'm
or
gonna appeal
female?
it.
I'm curious.
Male, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Smart.
A very strong patriot who
Yeah.
is fighting these things on other levels, which he's got other cases. This is what he's fighting. Not only do I plan to appeal it, he believes that there's a case potentially in the future for the fact that I was issued a lawsuit, essentially a harassment injunction against a public figure, an elected official. They cannot do that. They cannot silence their constituents. So I don't know where that's going to go. All I know is I would love to be playing offense. I would love to take this to the Supreme Court and for once and for all settle. Like I had the right to call the police because he is a male. Let's set some precedents. A lot of these battles are going to be fought on the ground in your life, in your own personal life, in the courts, and honestly, probably with Second Amendment rights, like self-defense rights, because if I encountered him in a bathroom with my daughter and I'm not allowed to have contact, I'm going to just take care of what I need to take care of to protect her. So,
Right.
yep. But I'm telling women like this can't just be a handful of women's fights.
Right.
It has to be like you call the cops. You do it. How many times has that man used the women's locker room in that gym? And I'm the first person to call the police? Really?
Yeah. Well, I've heard stories, personal stories. A friend of mine was in California. She was in the locker room. She was horrified because she turned around. There was a man like naked in the shower.
Mm.
She quickly got dressed, ran out, went to the front desk. They made her feel like a jerk. They were like, what are you? You're homophobic.
Totally. Yep.
Everything is just turned around now. So I don't
sad.
know. What do you think are some practical things that women can start to do. Like I have this little show. I try to bring exposure to things. I'll talk to Nino about it. I'm sure he's going to want you on his show. I'll try to get, where do we find your funding for your legal battle right now? How do we give to that? Because I feel like this is going to set a precedence in some way. And
I hope so. I do. I hope so. Like, I'm cut out for this crap. I can handle the drama. I can handle the stress, the anxiety. This has been really stressful for me for a week. I kind of shut down. You'll notice my Instagram goes dark for a couple days. But then I look at my daughter and I think,
yeah,
I would never want her to have to go through this. I would never, ever want her to walk into a locker room
right,
thinking that she's safe and then turn around and see a man, wiener or not. Like, let's just clarify that. A lot of people on Instagram, well, did he get did he cut off his wiener? I don't care. You can cut off your wiener. That just makes you more crazy. That means you should less likely to be in our locker room because you're insane. You cut off your own wiener.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I can't sit back and watch my 6-year-old daughter.
No.
Think about my 6-year-old daughter having to go through this.
No, you have to stand up for your daughter just the way that I do, that every woman does. If you don't stand up now, then you're taking their rights away. And God forbid, God only knows where this is going to go.
Right. It's going to a place where any man with any mental disturbance, with any ulterior motive, any at all, right now, today, can go and just say, I identify as female, and he now has access to your daughter. So we are past like, well, what could happen? No, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. So are you going to call the cops when you see what is very clearly a man in the locker room? Are you going to call him out? Are you going to speak up? Are you going like it's hard. It's stressful. It's hard. It's awkward, but is it not worth it? Like, are our daughters not worth an awkward day?
Lindsey, I feel like I know this. The left has done this very manipulative, crazy thing where it's like they've Jedi you into thinking like, oh, I'm phobic, or oh, I can't speak out because then I'll look like it's politically incorrect.
Right.
Or, it's like a Jedi mind control. And then, we're all kind of taking a step back going like, ooh, I don't want to offend anybody. Well, no.
Yeah.
You're offending me.
You're offending your own daughter by allowing her to get raped eventually. Yeah. Well, so, and I will say this too, this man, Paul Bixler, that sits on the school board, so many people have messaged, not so many, oh my gosh, like 5 have messaged me. He's a family member and you're a horrible person, all this stuff. And he's such a great guy. And I go, you know what? I'm sure he is. I'm sure he is a nice guy. You know what? And I'm sure that you guys are to blame for not getting him the help he needs. But that doesn't change how nice he is or how nice you think he is, doesn't change my rights. And so
nothing to do with our rights and our daughter's rights. Exactly.
Yes. Like, as nice as you are, I don't want you watching me undress.
Thank you.
Sorry. I think my dad is really nice.
Yeah.
Do I now have to get naked in front of my dad because he's nice? Like,
no.
Or
no.
Or like any politician that's like, oh, come to my rally, support me. Hey, I'm a nice guy. Now you should feel so comfortable that you can share a restroom with. No. So no matter how nice these people are or how hurtful it may be to their feelings, not sorry. Like, you don't get our rights. And that has to supersede everything, is when something is wrong, that you must speak up.
I get so fired up with this, Lindsey, I can't even tell you. How does everybody find you? I mean, I found you on Instagram, but tell us where to find you and how do we help fund this legal battle, because it is this important. And I don't know how we turn this around. I feel like it's a tsunami and we all have, there's strength in numbers, but we better do something about this. I mean, I feel like this needs to go to the Supreme Court. We're actually fighting for women's rights, privacy, like we fought for the vote. In 19
so yeah, Instagram is probably the best place to find me. It's sorry, my nose is running. It's the.patriot.barbie. I have a link tree up. It goes to my website, which has a funding site that I've had for years since I, defied lockdowns in Oregon. but the link is, I think it's the top link right now, is because everyone's sharing it on my link tree on my Instagram. But you can also go to my website, which is patriotbarbie.com. And there's
Okay.
a tab that says support, and it's got different ways you can support me. But I like I said, I'm in this for the long run. This has become a lifestyle for me. Like it was pretty clear in 2020. I'm sure you saw the story where I defied the lockdowns in Oregon and I fought the government, and they tried to do everything to me. And the more they tried to do, the more I realized, if you succeed in any of these things, you have found the line in which I will draw, that I will stop fighting. And
Mhm.
there wasn't a line for me. I decided there can't be a line, because the more you try to draw one, that means that's what you're doing, is testing me to see, what will I finally stop? What will cause me to stop fighting?
Mhm.
Is it the loss of my license? Is it a fine? Is it, jail time? No, 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 no. Not even my kids. They tried to take my kids away, and I still fought. This is one of those fights again. I'm funded. The Give, Send, Go has reached a beautiful number that I'm so comfortable with retaining an attorney. I will, if that stays funded, I will fight this as to whatever court it needs to.
Right.
There is no line in which I will draw that this fight isn't worth it.
Lindsey, when did they try to take your kids away? What was that all about? What happened?
So in May of 2020, I opened my salon against lockdowns, and I was probably like the second person in America, and that's how I got into this movement. We
Okay.
ended up losing everything and moving to Arizona. I lost 6 businesses. But one of the things the government threatened to do to me when I was national news is they threatened me with fines. OSHA said they were going to take my business license, my hair license. They tried to kick me out of my building. When I would not comply and I would not shut back down, they sent Child Protective Services to my house, and they searched my home and interviewed me and tried to threaten to take my children away if I didn't. Not if I didn't shut back down. It was like the underlying innuendo, right? Is that I'd reopened my doors, and 2 days later, Child Protective Services shows up. So I
Wow.
just, yeah, I've been through
Bonkers.
enough that
Yes.
there isn't, there's not a lot you could do that would silence me. So
Right. Right. No, I
yeah.
commend your boldness, and I see the Bible studies and the things that you're doing,
Mhm.
and you're walking
Mhm.
the walk.
That's,
You
yeah.
know, and so thank you for inspiring me and so many of us. You certainly have the strongest why that I've ever heard of, and it's for your kids. It's for
Mhm.
your children that you're doing this, and that's what
Yep.
we all need to do. We need to
Yes.
wake up and pay attention to this. By the way, I've always thought, like, this is so ridiculous. Why can't we just have 3 bathrooms, like male, female, and then the gender neutral,
Confused.
whatever you want to,
Male, female, not sure.
and the I don't know. Yeah,
Let's call it
that's
purgatory. Let's
okay.
call it purgatory, like somewhere in between.
Whatever,
Yeah.
I come from a theater background. I have a cousin who's gay. I love him, and I'm just like, you know what? That's your decision, your genitalia, but don't come into the girls' bathroom. We
Mhm.
deserve our privacy and our rights.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, and here's the problem with that. We've coddled to them so much that
Yes.
when we say, let's give them their own weird abnormal bathroom, give them their own, then they turn around and go, well, then I don't feel included. It's like you're ostracizing me as
Right.
being
Right.
abnormal. And it's like, you
Yes.
are abnormal. If you don't
Listen,
identify as one gender or the other, biologically, scientifically, and God given, then you are abnormal. Sorry, you alienated yourself. Why is that my problem?
listen, we all deserve our privacy and our rights. This is so I will fight for that for my daughter, for myself, and for women. It just makes me sick to think that here we are in the 21st century. Once again, women's sports is getting obliterated. Here we are.
Yep.
Women's
Yep.
sports is getting obliterated. And there's girls out there running track, swimming, killing themselves to reach their goals and be successful and get those scholarships. They're losing
Yep.
scholarships.
Yep. Losing their chance in the Olympics,
This
like
is
life-changing stuff,
this is
life-changing
sick.
stuff.
This is
Yeah.
sick.
There might be a girl on a soccer team and she's got a boy that wants to play on her team. That sucks. That's terrible. He wants to share the locker room. But there are life-changing circumstances in which one girl has trained for gymnastics her whole life, made
Thank
it to the
you.
pre-Olympics, made it to the Olympics. She earned it. And then some guy comes swooping in and qualifies. You have changed her life forever. That's unforgivable.
It's unforgivable. It's wrong. And we have to stand up and do something about this. So on that note, everyone, please realize that let's not sugarcoat it anymore. There is a war on women. There is a war on women.
Mhm.
So look up the Patriot Barbie, help her out with her legal battles here. I am going to tell Nino about this. I hope to get you on his show.
Thank you.
And Lindsey, God bless you. Stay in
Thank
touch.
you.
But I'd love, let's go shooting.
Hi, Della. With my new, did you see my new Patriot Barbie AR?
No. Oh, yes.
Oh
It
my
was like-
gosh,
it
it's
was like
so
lit up or something.
dude. So I have my own custom Patriot Barbie AR. It's got my logo on it. That was a custom one of a kind build. But then he built a pretty little Patriot gun that's pink, hot pink, light pink, silver. And there's only 10 of them that are going to be made in the in the entire world. Only 10.
Oh my God.
And it's pretty little Patriot brand. And they're ARs with these 8-inch barrel. They're so
This is
cool.
wild. How do I get
Yeah.
one?
The link is on my link tree on my Instagram. Yes.
I just went back to shooting. I went with my husband. I'm like teaching my daughter how to shoot. And I'm thinking like, wow, this is where we are. But you know what?
Yep.
What am I talking about? I was 9. My dad, we went out to the desert. We were shooting bottles. It's like,
Yeah, but she's gonna have to use it. Like it's different when you're like training for fun. It's honestly like get ready because there was gonna be a time you think you're safe. You're in a locker room, you're in a bathroom, you're in a women's area, and there's gonna be a dude there, and he's not innocent. He didn't cut his wiener off. He's there to prey on you. You better be ready.
You are correct. And in
Mhm.
fact, what was the lady? Was she in Florida? She was in the gym, her gym at her apartment complex. And this guy
Yes. Yeah.
thought, wow, if she'd had a gun on her.
Yep.
Like,
Exactly.
No.
This would be a non-issue. Exactly.
You also need to know your rules and what this means because you can't just shoot somebody.
Right.
The cops might arrest you.
Yeah. We're headed that way too.
All right, war on women. I'm going to let you go. Thank you, Lindsey.
Thank you,
bless
Tresha.
you. And great to meet you. Great to talk to you. Thank you for all that you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Natural.